hello everybody, and welcome to your Calgary real estate market update for October. This is a special election edition of our market update where I'm going to reveal my pick for who should be the next mayor of Calgary. Okay, so let's get into it. First though, we've got a couple things I want to take you through. Give me a second to get this lined up here. Here we go. So a little bit of national headlines, more of the same in many ways, where it's now too costly for builders to build properties that people can afford in Vancouver or Toronto. Just shows you how messy those markets are. And it's not good for the construction industries and the related employment in both of those market sectors either. Okay, so Toronto, the worst level in 30 years. The professional associations in BC are calling out the poor state of the economy and market for new construction there. And so in response to some of this, the federal government is now inserting itself into this space by saying it's going to go out there and build properties at the lower end of the market, the super affordable stuff, to help the affordability issues across the country. And many are wondering how that's going to look and work. They're talking about using prefabricated homes and then so like building them in a factory and then assembling them on land owned by the federal government. So this has been approved for, I think, a half a dozen markets across the country. Calgary's not one of them, but we'll see how this comes together. And we could see maybe this take on a little bit more prefab stuff being built out. Okay, unlicensed property manager in British Columbia fined $100,000. This was somebody who was managing 24 different properties, basically putting himself out there as a property manager, and the BC regulators come down hard on him with $100,000 in penalties. But what you don't have to worry about is if you hired us to manage your properties for you. So you might not know this, but we have a sister company, Greenleaf Property Management, that manages rentals all around the Calgary market. And so if you're a landlord or a portfolio-based owner with a handful of doors and you'd like a proposal from us, definitely reach out. I'd be happy to do that for you. Putting this out there now because the market's getting tougher for landlords out there, and our property management company's been doing a great job, and we typically do well in these times. So if you need a proposal for your portfolio, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at Greenleaf Property Management. Okay, let's dive into the election. So we're getting down the home stretch here. The election's on the 20th of October. The field is starting to emerge here now with 5 candidates getting most of the airplay, being brought out to many debates and forums and that sort of stuff. And so they just held one at the Calgary Real Estate Board. So they were in front of all of the realtors there where they were answering some questions that were relevant to our industry. And it became clear to me during that who I think the best candidate for the next mayor of Calgary is, and Calgary. And so drum roll, please. Brian Thiessen with the Calgary Party. I think he would be the best fit for mayor that we have of the available candidates here so far. And I'll take you through my reasons why. So the first one is that he's put housing at the key part of his platform. He's got a great platform on the Calgary Party website. And he's saying we're going to make every decision through the lens of housing and put that first. And so I think this is really good news. He was also making mention of how Calgary is tracking to be a city of 2 million people within a few short years here. And so getting ready to accommodate that growth and staying affordable so that we could increase our tax base and have more services. All of this stuff makes sense to me. And I like the messaging that he had there. Now, in addition to that, he's showing his leadership acumen because he is the only candidate that is taking advantage of Danielle Smith's new rules for municipal elections, whereby you can now have party affiliations at the municipal level. This is new for Calgary for this election cycle. This does exist in other municipalities across the country, but this is a new one for Calgary in that you can run under a party banner. So Brian has gone and has 13 candidates, one in each of the wards of the city, all running underneath the Calgary Party banner with the hopes that if he gets elected mayor and he gets enough councillors underneath the Calgary Party banner also to be elected, that they can move quickly through decisions and they can have a majority on the 13 seats of council, and we won't get these log jams and these long debates which just slow down everything that happens down at City Hall. So I think that is a real good approach, shows leadership, shows how he plans to deliver on his policy platform that he's talking about. And none of the other candidates are really doing that. The only one who's got a platform, or sorry, a party affiliation, is a Sonia Sharp, and that's with a handful of the existing councillors, and she's not in all 13 wards, which is a bit of a miss if you ask me, okay? A couple of the other reasons, Davidson and Farkas just weren't really doing it for me. They sound really similar in the way that they answer their questions. Gondek, we know all about her. I'm not a fan of her declaring a climate emergency and how she botched the first arena deal. That didn't sit well with me. And yeah, Farkas and Davidson already lost to her once, and they're probably going to split the vote and position her to do it again. So Brian Thiessen's got a much more centrist approach to his party, and that's who I think that you should vote for. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. All right, real quickly through the market update stuff here. So pricing is still moving down from 577 last month to 573 or so this month. Still moving down here in Calgary. Still have this tale of two markets though, okay? So the freehold stuff, so no condo fees, detached and semi-detached, they're holding together, doing all right. The stuff with condo fees is getting less, or the prices are moving down on those, okay? And quite considerably. And if you look here at the apartment segment, you can see what I'm talking about. So this is a rate of change, and you can see how since early 2024, condo prices are now depreciating. They are, the growth period is now over. Now the question is how far our price is going to fall. So we're basically down to 0% growth or negative growth on those, and wouldn't want to own a condo in many communities in Calgary right now. You can see here the overall trends for pricing and sales since the spring of 2024. We've been trending down. This hasn't really stopped. There are some seasonal effects here, but I don't think that we're out of the woods yet in terms of prices dropping. Now, one of the metrics that I'm going to be watching for very closely, and I'll share this with you guys in future market updates, is the sales to list price ratio. All right, so year to date in 2024, there was actually higher. So on average, properties were selling for above asking price. And this is where we had this huge growth market. All right, well, year to date now we're less than that. All right, and in September we're at 97.71%, so about 2.25 percentage points below asking price is what the average sale to the relative that asking price is showing up to be. So this is buyers not taking listing prices seriously. It's buyers agents getting out there and negotiating really good deals for their buyers in ways that they weren't able to do that before. And so to me, as long as this stays under 98%, so in the 97s or anywhere, we're going to continue to see prices falling. This is probably like the bleeding edge indicator of what's happening in the market, is that sales to list price ratio. So I'll watch that closely to see if we're going to start to level out here, or if the bottom's going to continue to fall out, and if we're going to see even faster reductions in prices, okay? Looking here at the month's worth of supply graph. So I actually had to change the y-axis on this. It used to be up at 3.5 months. Now I got to have it all the way up at 4.5 months. Okay. And this is because we're just seeing so much more inventory staying on the market relative to the pace of sales. All right. This graph kind of shows it as well, but we'll break it down for you based on the different communities in the city. So you can see here, apartments, not good at all. That black line is 2.5 months worth of supply. So everything above that is in a buyer's market. And so really almost every single asset class in the city is in a buyer's market territory right now. But you can see how the condos and in the east end of the city are really shifting the overall balance here. So if you're not in a condo, and if you're not in the east or northeast part of the city, you might not be anywhere near as bad as the overall stats are showing right now. And you can see here the month's worth of inventory. Where we're at now at over 4 months worth of supply on the market, we haven't been there since the very, very early times of the pandemic here. Really, like summer of 2020, we haven't been there since, and you can see that. So pandemic market effects are over. We're now back to the same type of conditions we were before that happened. Now, here we are with the price bin. So this is I have to make these numbers or pull these numbers together myself. The Krebs doesn't print them, but I think it's important to know what the month's worth of supply numbers are based on the pricing bins that consumers might find themselves in. So we used to see that, oh, well, if you're, way up at the top end of the market, it might be 6 or 7 months worth of supply. And if you're really affordable, it might be even tighter. But now we're seeing this evening out a lot more. We're pretty close to that 4 across all of the pricing segments. So we no longer have this sort of the cheap stuff as being really, really competitive, and the more expensive stuff is languishing. It's evened out a little bit there. So there's some balance within the market. So not quite as much of a story here as we used to have with this before. But all right, that's my update for October. Brian Thiessen for mayor, I think he would do a great job. Love to hear what you guys have to think about that. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and we'll see you guys next month.